Hello everybody, this is me Amin
And this Alex.
and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. In this episode, it's our ongoing coverage of what's going on with regard to COVID in the country. So we are, I think, a few days inside the full MCO, whatever you want to call it now. What is it called now?
They call it total lockdown, phase 1, whatever that means.
Okay, we're in this full MCO, total lockdown, whatever you want to call it, right? There are critical questions that we need to ask. Number one, where are we now in our journey to recovery? Are we getting worse? Are we getting better? Or are we not going anywhere? And then number two, what's crucial to our road to recovery is the number of vaccinations that are going into people's arms. So if you recall, in a number of our episodes, we talked about what is the rate of vaccination and what is the target. So I recall, and I don't think he has changed the target, right, Alex?
Yep.
We are looking to have 80% of the country's population to be vaccinated by the end of this year. We're now in the early days of June, so that gives us another 6 months to cover 80% of the total population in Malaysia. Are we on track? Are we getting there? Is this achievable or not? And how are we in terms of like speeding up the rate of vaccination? As it stands, only 50% of the country has registered for vaccination. Only 50% has registered. So how are we going to cover 80% vaccinated people by the end of this year? 50%, some people think that, okay, 50% is not a bad rate. 50% is half of the country. Yes, that's true. But if you think about like when the vaccination registration started, which was like sometime in February. It's slow, super slow, too slow. In fact, it's like not moving at all.
And to correct there, right, the 50% is not about the total population. It's a targeted population out of the 25 million people. So that's even worse.
Okay, yeah. It's even worse. So, you know, where are we now? A lot of the news reports and a lot of you guys, I think a lot of us as well, a lot of our WhatsApp groups, our family members, the daily number of positive cases and the daily number of deaths are the headliners. That's what people look at. But should we look at those numbers? Are those numbers an indicator or not? So today, it's the 3rd of June. There's been a number of reports. I saw a report on Malay Mail saying that, we've been having, since our 9,000 positive cases that happened last week, the number of cases, positive cases in Malaysia have been kind of like flat, around 7,000, hovering 7,000, 6,000, and haven't yet gone up to 8,000.
8,000 already today.
Is it 8,000 today?
Yeah, today's 8,000.
I jinxed it. It's 8,000 what? 200?
Just slightly over 8,000. Yeah.
Okay, so are we on the road to recovery? Is full MCO the way to go? Is it going to help? Are we going to be in full MCO for only 2 weeks or more? So what do the numbers tell you, Alex?
Okay, we look at the surface, right? On the surface, it looks like the number of cases are, getting flat. We're not having more cases because since we had the high score of 9,000, I think 9,020 last week, we've been recording lower cases. We've been hitting like 6,009, 7,000, and today 8,000. So we just it's like a flip-flop lah. I mean, below 9,000. So
it's within like a range lah.
It's within a range. So it looks like, okay, we are in a way controlling the pandemic from further surge. And if you look at the infectivity rate as shared by our Health Director General, Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah, he showed that the infectivity rate on 29th of May was 1.16 and it dropped to 1.06 on 2nd June. So for those who don't know, infectivity rate is like how likely the virus can spread. So ideally it's 1.0. 1.0 means no change. And if it's less than 1, that's good, which means that the number of infections are reducing. So if you look at the sheer numbers alone, it looks like, the MCO is working. There's no increase. But we need to go behind the numbers. What is it really going on?
Yep.
So I think a lot of health experts and health journalists have been pointing out that, hey, we're not seeing the actual numbers because we're not testing enough. And that's a huge concern because if you look into the actual details, we haven't been hitting 126,000 tests per day because we're supposed to be increasing our tests because the more you test, the more you know whether there's any infections in the community. And as published by CodeBlue, written by Bu Suilin, she actually published an article, the headline, why Malaysia is slightly underreporting COVID-19 cases. And if you look at the breakdown that's provided, a lot of states they were recording very high positive rates. So the rule of thumb is the positive rate shouldn't be more than 5% if you want to consider it as under control. If the positive rate is more than 5%, which means that okay, you have a serious situation, you need to test more people, which means that there's more cases out there which we haven't found. And based on the breakdown, the national level is 6.89%, which is really alarming. But what's more disturbing is the specific states. So based on this article from May 23rd to 29, Kelantan's positive rate was 11.84%.
Wow.
That's high.
Wow.
Followed by Negeri Sembilan with 10%. And then Labuan, 8.78%. Selangor, 7.99%. And among all the states, you know that Selangor has done the most testing. So for that week 21, Selangor has tested 200,000 individuals. And out of that, there's 16,944 people were positive. So if you see Selangor having high cases, that's because they've done more testing. And other states with smaller numbers doesn't mean that there's less cases. It could be more. And the reason why it's low because of the number of tests. If you test less, obviously you're going to get less cases. So that's a huge concern. Like, why are we not hitting our maximum testing capacity? So that's the biggest question.
So what is an indication of adequate testing numbers? I mean, like, should we test everybody, or how does it work?
You mean as in for us is once you reach a point,
because I know, like, okay, WHO says in a positivity rate of 5% and below means okay, we're on the road to recovery.
Yeah, it's under control.
Yes, anything higher than that, we have to put in control measures, right?
Yes.
So on average, if I'm not mistaken, I think Dr. Amar, one of our regular contributors to searchengine.com, providing a lot of opinions and insights on what the real COVID situation is in Malaysia, has been very informative in providing insightful information. So I think he tweeted today, and he said that he's put out like a table, and the kind of like average in positivity rate in the country right now is about 7%.
Yeah.
Right. And anything above 5%, like 7%, it's an indication that we need to do more testing because we might be underreporting the positive cases, or not underreporting, but the positive cases have not been discovered yet. Or people are not coming in and they're positive, but they don't know. So we might be sitting on like a time bomb here.
Yep, and then also like what Dr. Amar has shared is that from 29th of May we tested 126,000 people, which is good. And that time we have positivity rate of 7%. But after that, we seem to be dropping the number of tests. So on 30th May, we only tested 100,000. 31st of May was only like 89,000. Yep. And 1st June is 100,000. 2nd June, 100,000. Yeah. And based on the positivity rate, like let's say he gave a good example. On the 2nd of June, the positivity rate is 7.68%. If we do test 126,000 people per day, we should be looking at 9.7K cases.
Yep.
It could be 10,000 right now. Yep. We wouldn't know until we do more tests.
Yep. So we wouldn't know. I guess the situation right now is, are we going to recover within the next 2 weeks? Is full MCO going to be lifted by the next 2 weeks? My gut feel is saying no. I mean, the numbers are showing kind of like no. We've not seen like a drastic decrease in terms of the number of positive cases on a daily basis. In fact, the number of deaths have been increasing, and that's a scare as well, right?
Yeah, because you can probably not report the actual number of positive cases, but you can't hide death. Death is increasing, and yesterday we reached a new milestone of 126 deaths in a single day. First time ever, we have more than 100 deaths due to COVID. And we look at the past 7 days, the average number of new cases was 7,600 per day, but the number of deaths for the last 7 days was 561 deaths. So that's an average of 80 people per day
dying
due to COVID.
Yep. That's damn, man.
So you tell me whether are we improving or not? Because if let's say the numbers are going down, positive cases are going down, but the deaths are going up, that's a sign that we're not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, we're not. I don't think things are gonna get better anytime soon, and we are hoping on the COVID vaccination, right? But I think there's like a lot of room to be. I think there's a lot of improvement that needs to be done there. Number one is, okay, I think a couple of episodes back we said that, the JKJ AV team, I even said, KJ is doing a great job with regards to the vaccination program. Whatever it is, people are getting vaccinated, okay? Let's not deny that. The politicking that goes around, like, oh, which states are getting vaccinated, and that thing about that vaccination donation thing, it just died down. Nothing has happened. So there's been a lot of unnecessary conversation with regards to vaccination that is not contributing to increasing the rate of vaccination. And that's dangerous. And nobody's like really stepping in and saying, look, I got this under control. It doesn't seem like anybody has gotten this under control. If I'm not mistaken, yesterday, Alex, you mentioned the Prime Minister is requesting for 200,000 vaccinations per day?
Yeah, at least 200,000 because of the dire situation right now. We need to ramp up vaccination because the current target is to complete the 80% target by end of this year. But Muhyiddin wants to accelerate that, to have that done earlier so that we can open our economy as soon as possible.
Okay, so KJ wants it at 150,000. Muhyiddin saying, okay, we need to do 200,000. The fact of the matter is we're not even close to any of those numbers.
Right now, I think we are progressing because KJ's initial promise was to hit 150,000 per day this month in June. And today itself, based on the latest report, I think we've done more than 100,000. I think it's 109,000 per day. So we're moving. And the more we have more vaccination centers, more venues, this will be, I think it's achievable. And on top of that, previously the biggest concern about the vaccination rate is because we don't have enough supplies.
Yep.
But this month alone, we're going to have huge number of supplies. So based on the number of deliveries that's coming into Malaysia and also the local fill finish process by Sinovac, I think by August, we have a different problem. Where to find people to vaccinate. Because all the vaccines are coming in already.
So there'll be more supply than demand.
Yes, that's right.
So then the problem is like, okay, we need to find people to vaccinate.
Yeah, but before that, the next question is, how do we achieve the 200,000 vaccinations? Because right now, I think there's a lot of concern about not enough venues, how to make it more convenient. So I think in the past few weeks, we've seen a lot of mega PPVs, so mega mass vaccination centers. We have like World Trade Center, which can do more than 8,000 per day. They recently opened MeTech. It's an exhibition center that can do more than 2,000 per day. And there's also an upcoming Bukit Jalil Stadium. So that's going to do 10,000 vaccinations per day.
Wow.
Yeah. So mega PPVs, a lot of people criticize like, what's the point in doing that? We should decentralize, make more smaller place. I think it's true.
There are good and bad.
There's good and bad, yeah. I think the mega PPVs, one thing good about it is efficiency because you have a lot of resources there. You got more doctors, you got more vaccinators, you got more people control, bigger halls. So you can optimize the resources. You have higher turnaround.
You can handle more cases. You can handle more instances of people requiring vaccination efficiently and quickly. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, the mega PPVs actually do their job lah. I think you need both. You need you need to decentralize, yes, and you need a mega PPV. The problem is the capacity of the JKJV committee to handle both situation. Even right now, there's been like a lot of rumors and fake news that vaccination are available for private hospitals, supermarkets, shopping malls, and companies and all that. So everybody's like confused now. Who's getting the supply? Because the concern is people are not assured whether there is enough supply to meet the demand. But like you said, Alex, right? There will be a point where there will be like a inflection, right? There's going to be a change where supply will be more than demand.
Yep.
And I think maybe the government is just preparing for that time when supply is more than demand, and they will open up to companies. Okay, companies, you need to, factories, for example, you need to run the program. Okay, the vaccine is provided to you, but everything else is on your cost, like the doctors and stuff like that. They have to pay for that, right?
Correct. So there's a lot of things I pack here. So number one, I think the most the biggest effort will be the national immunization program. So nothing has changed on that. So they've done phase 1, which is frontliners. Phase 2, which is currently ongoing, which is for senior citizens, people with chronic diseases, and also OKUs. So that's
not chronic diseases, like non-communicable diseases, like
chronic
heart problem and stuff like I don't know, chronic could be
it's one of it.
Things. Yeah.
It's one of it also.
Okay.
Yeah, so chronic disease. So that's ongoing, and there's phase 3, which haven't started yet nationwide. So the
phase 3 is for the rest of us.
Healthy adults with no issues above 18 years old, you can get vaccinated. So phase 3 hasn't started yet. That's supposed to start in May, but now we're in June already. So that hasn't started yet. So I think that is going to start very soon with the more arrival of vaccines. But there's a lot of talks out there, like, because a lot of people are saying that, we are essential, we need to be vaccinated first.
Yep.
So there's a separate group of people called they call it the how you call this, like economic frontliners,
Yes.
people who are actually
Essential for the economy.
yes, essential
Like
for economy.
factory workers and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Even people who interact with a lot of customers, like Grab delivery guys.
Yep.
Those people are facing people every single day.
Yep.
So those are actually considered high priority, and even the media as well.
Mm.
So for this segment, there haven't been an official announcement yet, but based on what we've seen out there, like from the malls and all that, right? So what I can understand is that the government's going to provide vaccines for these people because you're essential, but you need to figure out how to administer the vaccines. Because the reason why, number one, is that we don't want to overcrowd the existing infrastructure. Because the current plan, let's not kacau that plan. Give to those who have, if it's permanent. But if let's say if you're running a business like a factory with 1,000 workers, and you want to vaccinate everyone, right? Obviously, it makes more sense to vaccinate on site. So instead of getting all the staff to go to the PPVs, why not arrange for someone to go to your place and inject?
Yep.
So that one, from what I understand, is that will be on their cost. So for example, the government said, okay, you got 1,000 people, you're eligible. Here, 1,000 doses of vaccines. You find someone to administer for you. It could be a hospital or a third-party health provider.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like there are two things here, right? Number one, the infection rate, right? I think we still have to continue to do our part in terms of staying safe and staying at home and stuff like that, because more and more people are getting sick. More and more people, we spoke about this, right? More and more people are getting sick. Hospitals are getting overburdened. There's even now not enough rooms not enough places or storage to put dead bodies. That's how severe the situation is right now. I guess when we started this show, we were talking about like whether we are on track, on the road to recovery, or things are still not. We're still not out of the woods yet, or we're kind of like in between. I think with the numbers that we have, the things that we're looking at, I think we're not out of the woods yet. It's not time for us to celebrate yet. But there is a silver lining here. The light at the end of the tunnel is vaccination. The good thing is we're increasing the number of vaccinations per day. Ideally, it should be more. It's not fast enough, but we're increasing it, and that's fine.
I want to talk about the numbers as well.
Yeah.
So if let's say you want to achieve our target of 80% of population, which is about 25 million people.
Yep.
If you want to give you want to give everyone at least one dose, you need to do a vaccination of 109,000 per day. But if you want to complete the vaccination, which means we need to administer like
two doses.
Yep. We need to hit an average of 250,000 per day, starting from today.
To hit the 80% by the end of this year.
Yeah, we need to do 250 per day from today.
Okay, so I'm not sure whether that's achievable. That's double of what we are hitting currently. So we're not out of the woods yet. So we had a discussion after our show, our last show. It's like, okay, how do we ramp up? How do we get people to vaccinate, right? So one of the ideas, like we were thinking, right? You know how people like to line up for food, like you know McDonald's and the BTS meals and stuff like that. Why not you do like why not the JKJ? If you work with McDonald's, work with KFC, work with A&W, whatever, right? Have like a special meal for people who come and vaccinated. But it's not for those. It's not like a promo for you after you've been vaccinated. You go to the McDonald's, get yourself vaccinated there, and then buy a meal.
Or can do in Family Mart or
I mean wherever, right? So because I think I don't know what do you guys think, viewers and listeners? What do you guys think? I think I don't know. I don't have the numbers, but I'm seeing a lot of people are having their priorities wrong lah. I'm seeing a lot of people still want to go out. I think Sabri Yaakob, he tweeted something yesterday to say that I managed to close the front door. I don't know what's going on in the back. It's very cryptic, but to me what I feel is that he's saying that okay, he's telling the shops and all that to close, but they are still finding ways to operate in back doors. We have no idea of how many food outlets, how many restaurants are opening back door. Of course, there is threat of fines and stuff like that, but it's never enough. It's never enough a deterrent. I think the deterrent is always about us. So I don't know. I mean, what do you think? How can the situation be better?
Number one is that we can't deny that people are just are tired. They have COVID fatigue. They just want to get back to normal lives as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So we can't hold on to this kind of situation for the next 1-2 years. We need to find a
No,
proper
man,
solution.
I cannot tahan
Exactly.
another 2 years of this. I cannot.
So hence the reason why Muhyiddin was putting that urgency to carry, like, you know what, we need to accelerate it. End of this year is not too good. We can't afford to have another MCO4, MCO5. You know, the economy can't take it. People cannot take it. Also, they want to go interstate already. Let's get back to our normal lives. Because right now, right, if you look at the region, based on the WHO's table for the Western Pacific region, Malaysia currently has the worst. We have the highest number of new cases in the last 24 hours. As a comparison,
Western Pacific is what? Includes India?
Australia, Australia, Brunei, China, Guam, Japan, except India. Yeah. So among all these countries, Malaysia is the worst. Okay, based on this is using yesterday's data. Malaysia recorded like 7,000 cases. The next will be like Philippines and Indonesia. They're only reporting 5,000 cases. And then Singapore, obviously, quite low, 31 cases. And even in the UK, I think they even have lower cases than us. And that's because they have high vaccination rates. So how do we increase vaccinations? Like you said, try to find other venues for doing so. But to give JKJV credit, they're looking at different ways to expand vaccinations. One, which we have announced recently, is to introduce drive-thrus. So they're going to roll out in several states. Even in Selangor, there's going to be a dedicated drive-thru center for OKUs and the carers, and that's opening at Arada Masawa next week. So all these are great, adding more access. And another huge concern is how do we deliver vaccines for people who can't get out? So they also embark on mobile clinics. So they actually send the vaccines to like elderly homes, shelters. So instead of having them to come to the PPVs, they bring the vaccines to them. So that's one good initiative they've done. And the next thing we need to look at is how do we expand it to more places, because I can imagine a lot of elderly people who probably cannot, who probably rely on a wheelchair and someone to take care of them. They can't go to mega PVVs. It's inconvenient. Why not we do like elections time? During election, every single constituency, there's a lot of scholar. They can cast their vote.
Open up the schools.
Yeah.
Schools are closed now.
Why not use the same
model?
That we can finish election in one day. Why we can't do the same for vaccinations?
Yes, that's true. I mean,
that's one option.
Oh, dude, you got a point there.
Yeah. I mean, you don't expect someone from like Kepong to go all the way to MITEC,
Yeah, for sure.
Just go to the nearest school.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know whether you guys can see this. We're like super tired talking about COVID. There's really nothing else to talk about. I mean, on our show, we always talk about technology. We always talk about the latest gadgets and devices and anything that's happening in technology. To be honest, we before every show we have a discussion of what topics to talk about. There's really nothing else because nothing is happening. Nothing new is happening. Yeah, there are devices being launched. Apple launched iMac, iPad Pro. The new iPhone is coming. Maybe we'll talk about that when that's launched. But there's so much that's not going on. We're tired. So I hope you guys stay informed of what's going on. And I think what I want to say is I think you guys feel the same also. But let's not forget that we still have this fight, and it can go both ways. It can get worse, but I hope it gets better. So let's continue to keep our distance. Let's continue to sanitize. Let's continue to wash our hands and wear a mask and go for COVID vaccination, right? So I know like a number of people who've there's like a rate, right, for people who have appointment and not going.
Yeah, and that's another concern as well because there's like for example states in northern states like Kelantan, right? Apparently like more than 10,000 people did not turn up for the vaccination rate, and one of the factors is that a lot of them they were registered by their children, but they're not willing to go, or some didn't know. So that's another concern that I need to address because I think the current system with MySejahtera, I think there's a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not getting notified. I feel that it's not that they want to not show up for the vaccination. Some don't even know. Like even within our team, right? We have some people who registered for the AZ vaccine, AstraZeneca, and then it's like, okay, I didn't get it. And then when they check manually, I got an appointment.
Yep.
So imagine like all the uncle aunties out there, the machikias and all that, who didn't know that they have an appointment.
Yeah. And they got they were only aware of their appointments like 3, 4, 5 days after the sign up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Okay, I think for me, right, how to fix this? Number one, just have as many vaccination centers as possible closer to areas like housing areas, closer to schools and stuff like that, and then just open it up. You don't have to register. You just go, and then just bring your IC number. Just get it done. I think that's the only way to speed up vaccination lah. Like you said lah, if we can go out and do what's this undian
Yep.
in a day, like the whole population, like 10 million, 20 million people go out and vote. I think this can be done. I think it just needs some major coordination lah.
Yeah. Also, like for example, if you worry about crowd control, right? Do like election. You can set where are your election centers anyway.
Yeah.
Just create that list. It's like, okay, you guys, these are all your areas to vaccinate.
Yeah.
At least faster, because right now the concern is a lot of people registered since February.
Yeah.
And they have no idea
No
where
idea. Yeah.
they are in the queue. They say I registered since February. Why I'm not getting jabbed?
Yeah.
There's no status. It's still showing like what's that?
Processing or something.
Processing or
where like there's
assessment.
assessment. Yes.
Under assessment,
Yep.
and then they have no idea. Am I going to get it this month, next month, this year? Nobody knows.
Yep. And everybody just wants to get back to normal life, and I think I think majority understands that vaccination is the key. Like I said, I think these are some good points. We have to have more vaccination centers and just open it up. Screw the My Sejahtera app. I think it's not required at all.
I think what they can do is the JKJV should just hire a bunch of volunteers to call up people who did not respond.
I'm not sure whether they're not doing that. They have like a volunteer list. I don't know what the volunteers are doing. Okay, some of them are helping at the PPVs.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Like for this follow up, because I feel that the no shows, right? I think there's something wrong with the system, because based on our experience, people got appointment but they're not informed.
Yeah, so they were saying like, for no shows we're gonna give them like a fine and stuff like that. There were talks about that.
Yep.
I don't think that's the right way. Like you rightly point, Alex, and I think we've mentioned this in a number of shows. I think the My Sejahtera app has a problem. The database management has a problem. There's like we know of at least two different databases. We know that there is a My Sejahtera database, and then there's the JKJAV database, and they're not. I don't know whether they're talking to each other, and there's no one consolidated database. So there's a ton of mess here that all these people who are in office needs to figure out what to solve. And all we can do right now is just play our part. I think like Rory mentioned before, right? What about the people who like they've done everything they can? They've stayed at home. They don't go to work. They've done everything, and it's still not getting better because it's out of their hands. It's beyond what they can do. Yeah, I mean that's the frustrating part, guys. So I guess let's all just stay strong, and I think the only thing we can do is hope for the best.
Yeah, and also to address the low registration, do your part to influence your circle of friends, your parents, because I know some people, they have a lot of hesitancy because of receiving fake news on WhatsApp, Facebook, and all that stuff.
Yep.
Please do your part. Try to convince it as much as possible. If you get vaccinated, please share your experience as well to show that there's nothing wrong with being vaccinated. All these scaremongering are nothing but lies.
Yep.
And we have seen a number of people getting fined and charged in court for spreading lies.
Yep. The latest one is housewife, right?
And,
she got like 5,000.
Yeah, and then a tuition teacher also got charged in court for spreading that a couple of police died because of vaccine, which is not true.
Okay, in terms of topics, guys, I think if you think that we're covering too much COVID stuff, let us know. Or if we're not covering enough of COVID stuff, let us know. If there's any questions, comments, or suggestions, let us know. I think because we want to talk about other things as well. So please drop down in the comment section like a really brilliant idea of like a topic to cover on the show. And we'll be more than happy to do that. It's that time of the show again where we respond to comments. So we're going to respond to comments from our previous Let's Talk About episode where we talk about the AstraZeneca opt-in version 2, where it was like a disaster, where almost a lot of people, not almost a lot of people, like a lot of people were frustrated because they couldn't get the vaccination, but some did get the vaccination like way later than that.
And some got surprised a few days later.
Like a Christmas surprise. So we're responding to comments from that episode, okay? So if you haven't watched the episode, please do watch the episode and put in more comments. Let us know what you think. Okay, so the first comment is from Ariel. And they say, because I don't know whether this is a girl or a guy, said, I think the frustration comes from the fact that there was no explanation for the issue. They just say, try again, and then the slots went full. They just said, we're sorry for the next day, and continued finger pointing to never address the entire situation. There was no accountability at all. No, not everyone are technology savvy, and they don't need to explain it in a very technical way. And they go on to say they did not learn from the previous registration. They knew people are interested, but they didn't do anything to improve the system. I disagree with Amin when he said that they didn't expect this much turnout. I'm sorry, but that's not right. The fact that the amount of vaccines to be distributed this round is larger, and considering the turnout from the first round, they should have expected a bigger turnout. Ariel, I think these are all very fair points, and you've rightly so pointed out. They should prepare for the worst, and not just assume that it's going to be like before.
Yeah, but in a way, they sorted the problem out by not having round 3. So AstraZeneca is not going to be available for opt-in. It's going to be included in the mainstream program. So you won't have issues on the JKJV website.
Yeah, so no more anxiety, or I don't know. It was fun. I
not fun for a lot of people.
Yeah,
man.
it's not. I mean, so I wanted to say it was fun for me because I opted in and I got it. So it's not okay. It's not, that's not the perspective lah. I know it's not fun for a lot, but no, because
what a show off! Just because you got in the first round.
Maybe it was less challenging. I don't know.
Yeah, because the first round everyone was scared about is AstraZeneca.
No, because everybody was like kanchonging the first round. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll just wait until I wait. I think I waited for like 2 hours after that, and I still got a slot. I was surprised because I didn't expect to get a slot, and I got it.
Yeah, but gotta admit that second round was very challenging.
Okay. The next comment is from SketchMe5, and he said, to the pro-government guy, why don't we just bloody show our IC and get the jab? Forget the database and stupid server time is an essence now.
Who is he talking to? Who is he talking about?
Okay, I don't know. A lot of people seem to think I'm a pro-government guy. I don't know why. Are you okay?
Is KJ your best friend?
I think he thinks I'm his best friend. Okay. Sketch me 5. I want to clarify. First, are you referring to me? If you're referring to me, I'm not a pro-government guy, nor am I a pro-opposition guy. I'm again looking at the facts and try to be rational, try to balance everything out. If they're not doing it right, I'll be the first to criticize them. Like I mentioned, I'm the most critical guy around. So I don't think I'm pro-government, but if you think I am, I don't think I have to apologize, but I just want to clarify I'm not. And I agree, yes, why do we need to register? I think in this show we talked about screw the MySuggestor system altogether. Just go, bring your IC and say, okay, I want vaccination, just get it done.
But we need to have some sort of order because right now the supplies are limited. I think this is possible when majority of people got vaccinated, then you can do walk-ins.
Yeah.
Because right now, if you do that, right, imagine like BTS, you're going to be like a huge crowd outside the
there's going to be a huge crowd and there's going to be people angry and whatever. Yeah, they have to put in like the things. They have to put in the process, okay, to say that we have now increased the number of vaccination centers. Remember we talked about in the show, right? More vaccination centers, do it at schools, do it closer to home so that people don't have to move so much.
And less crowding in one space.
And have longer operating hours. Yes, the challenge is we might not have enough people. That concerted effort, it's like a war effort, the coordination, the organization of people, manpower, skills and supply is critical, but it needs to be done. And I do agree with you, Sketch Me. That's how it should be done. And if it can, I think we can hit that 200,000 completed vaccinations per day. All right, okay, so the next comment is from Joseph Lowe, and he says, thanks guys, appreciate the show as always. Thank you very much, Joseph. Appreciate you for appreciating the show. 3 times they did this, and they couldn't get it right. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you, rightly so. And he says, we have people who didn't book but have appointments, people who didn't complete their bookings and getting their appointments. And do you know who didn't get appointments? Those that actually completed their bookings. My personal frustrations is the low standards we seem to accept as norm. No one is held accountable as we continue to entrust important tasks to companies that don't seem to be up to it. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, fully agree. It's a huge mess. Like we mentioned earlier, right? In the previous episode as well, some people who didn't get appointment, who didn't book for it, got appointment, and there's a lot of things involved here. Number one is there's the third party registration issue.
We get all this weird. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, I wanted to say like all these people who got appointments that and claim that they didn't book, and we get all these weird responses, right? Then the Selangor government is brought in. Some of the response was like, they were registered by a third party. The thing is, why didn't this happen in the round 1 and round 2? That's the question. So I think something funny, something weird is going on. And you're right, Joseph. Nobody is being accountable. Nobody's putting out a straight answer to say, okay, this is what happened. I apologize. And to fix it, we're not doing the system anymore. Just come out and say we're not doing the thing anymore because it's flawed, but we're going to continue and improve.
And another concern is like some folks, right, they already got appointment for the mainstream program. They're supposed to get their Pfizer and Sinovac vaccines, but suddenly they got overwritten by this AstraZeneca, which was pushed way behind. So imagine if you have appointment for Pfizer on the 30th of May, and suddenly it was changed to AstraZeneca in July.
You know what I think? Remember that time when we theorized that people the database can be manipulated manually. Like somebody can go and say, okay, I can change this, I can change that, because there is an override. What I'm thinking, like, this is not a system. I think somebody is overriding something, or somebody is putting in like a program, like a code to say that, okay, do this. And as you know, the website code is not perfect. So I'm not sure whether this person can code properly, and that code has like inadvertently caused all these unwanted effects.
There's a lot of factors involved, but I think we can't deny that it's a mess, lah.
Something fishy is going on.
I mean, I think there should be more assurance from the committee and all that to assure that we're looking into this. Something went wrong, we're going to fix it. We're not hearing that loudly enough. Yeah.
So instead of just KJ coming out and saying, okay, this, right, or Muhyiddin or Sabri Yaakob or whatever, right, I would like a subject matter expert to talk about all this, right? So if I was KJ, I would do this. I'll find like a subject matter expert or somebody that's in my team that can front this and say, okay, this is the guy and this is what happened. And he explains what happened and he explains how he's going to fix it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. That's why he's not my best friend. Okay, I think we've reached the end of the show, and that's my cue to remind you guys we're also available on podcast. So just search for Let's Talk About, sorry Jin Chao, on Spotify, on Switcher, on Apple Podcasts, on any of your favorite podcast platforms, and we're there. So if you're listening to us on podcast, please do give us a 5-star rating if you like the show, because that gets the word around, and the algorithm gods will share the show to more people. So that helps us a lot too. For those of you guys who are watching us on YouTube, thanks very much for watching the show. Please do give us a thumbs up if you like the show, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And as always, comments and suggestions, please put them in the comment section below. We need them. We need them because it makes our show better. Okay, that's pretty much it. This is me, Amin.
And this Alex.
Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you guys later. Bye.